One of the things that I find is I hear people who are heavily influenced by the political news, and they
Right.
think, we're going to hell in a handbasket. And this includes my liberal friends and my conservative friends. They're
Yeah, it's
both
on both sides. It's
yeah,
on both
absolutely,
sides. You see it
absolutely
on both sides of the spectrum
right,
that if XYZ candidate doesn't get in or if this
yeah,
politics doesn't go this way,
yeah.
the world's going to end.
Right. And the consistent thing I see is that we got 150 million, something like that, people who get up in the morning and drag their rear end into work.
Okay.
And, and they're just focused. They're not so much focused on the news as uh, keeping their job, doing a good job, raising a family, um, pursuing their personal interests. Could be sports, could be religious, could be
Yep.
art, whatever, uh, and that people just go on. And it's almost as if the news is totally irrelevant for 99% of the people out there. They just go
Okay.
about doing their work, and that keeps the economy going. So no matter how bad you think today's headlines are, people are still going to work.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I think going back to some of the uncertainty and just unease people are feeling. I think that's a important thing to just consider. And again, just to hear that hasn't really changed. That
Yeah.
regardless of what you read in the headlines, the vast majority of things are just going to continue on as they have. And not to get not that you don't care. I think if I were kind of representing your position, it's not that you don't care or it doesn't matter. It's just this apocalyptic,
Yeah.
this is going to destroy things is not helpful.
Yeah, and another way to express it is the economy is not fragile. You
Okay.
look at the Great Recession, 2008, 2009. We peaked at about 10% unemployment, but 10% unemployment. I can do the arithmetic right here. I've got my abacus. Um,
I
10%
love it.
10% unemployment equals 90% employment.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and that was pretty bad. So, things are
Okay.
not as fragile as we sometimes think.
Okay. So, from an economic lens, and again, I think that's reassuring for folks. And I know lots of people whose stories they have gone through a lot of change. It can absolutely feel like some of this stuff is up in the air. And I think we'll get into some of the what are the disruptive factors. But in general, overall, things are it's not as fragile because I do think there's a lot of people, even myself sometimes. There's some days where I'm like, good grief, am I going to wake up and like the world's just going to be on fire because something broke? And from your lens, you're going, it's not going to explode on a dime.
Right, right. And regardless of how the November election comes out, we'll be on pretty much the same path.